I don't know what's going on. We are having some delays here. We'll get it. We'll get there. We'll get there. My computer is frozen. Wow, really? Yo. All right, let's see if this works. All right. We apologize out there. Obviously, live broadcast does this where we're trusting technology. This is insane. I'm still trying to get it together here, and I apologize for that. Welcome to another edition of Pride and Passion Baseball Talk. I am your host, Amir Sharaz Ortiz. Excuse me, I think my computer, brand new as it may be, had decided he just doesn't want to play today. No idea why, and I apologize for that. But we are live. We are 4 minutes in. We'll get it together. I promise we'll get it together. Um, Here we go. We got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about in a little bit of time. I'm not going to take much of your time today. Um, Thank you for everybody out there that's joining the show. It is not user error. Trust me, I wish it was. Trust me, I wish it was. I don't have a tech team, but that's what happens when we're, doing a show out of your mama's basement. Just kidding, people. Just kidding. Let's get to it. Welcome again to another edition of Pride and Passion Baseball Talk. I am your host, Amir Sharaz Ortiz. Follow me on Facebook, Amir Sharaz Ortiz, or on Twitter or Instagram, Poppy Ortiz 02. Let's just do this. I guess this broadcast here is having issues just like the Red Sox offense. So let's go with you know what? Let's do this. That way it saves us some time, buys some time. Let's go to your power rankings. On top of the list has been the hottest team in baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers of Hollywood. California Dodgers of Los Angeles. We're still trying to figure out a name for them, but we'll figure it out. The LA Dodgers are on a roll again. Uh, 10 straight wins at the moment. Major League Baseball best record 77-33. Wow. Um, Obviously, they took the number one spot. So let's see. The best team in the majors. That is correct. Who just swept the Yankees? The Cardinals did. Next question. Uh, People, of course, as a Red Sox fan with a useless question. Forgive me. I'm not trying to do this show angry. Um, the Dodgers lead baseball best on base percentage, best slugging percentage. They're first in pitching with an ERA of 2.89. Uh, and they just destroyed two playoff worthy teams and the Padres and Twins. Please focus on the task at hand. We are talking about the Dodgers. I swear, New England and their education are not that bright. I apologize for the people out there. No, that is not spam, by the way. Okay. Uh, they were criticized for not making any moves at the trade deadline. Everybody was like, oh, the Dodgers didn't make any moves. They got a bunch of injuries. What will they do going forward? And all they're doing going forward is trusting in the guys they got in and moving it along. So, again, 77-33 is their record. They picked up Joey Gallo, which I know for a fact not everybody can play in New York. I got that. Joey Gallo was an all-star prior to or being in Texas. Okay. So the Dodgers pick him up in the 6 games he played with the Dodgers, already have 4 hits. I swear, I don't think he had 4 hits the entire time he was with the Yankees, and that's a year and a half. I do agree. David, if the Yankees get healthy, they can win. I agree with you. Thank you for that synopsis. But all they do is win. They beat up on the Padres, and I got a crazy stat here somewhere when it came to the Padres. They beat the Padres 17 out of 19 games, and they're 8-2 this season against the Padres. So the reason I bring that up because obviously the Padres is the next best team, but I don't see them catching them. Even with the cake schedule that the Padres have, I don't see them catching it. Number 2 is the Mets, sitting at 73-39. They're 8-2 in the last 10. And I only think they'll get better moving forward. They do have a tough schedule, though. So we got to be mindful of that here in August. They got the Phillies this weekend, Brewers, Phillies again next week, a 2-game series against the Yankees. The Rockies, which for some reason people stumble against the Rockies here and there, and the 3-game set against the Dodgers, which they'll close out then. So we got to be mindful. The Mets definitely with the top pitching staff, if not the major leagues, definitely in the National League. But I want to keep up because remember we had the trade deadline last week, so we got to be the guys they picked up were questioned or questionable. Did the Mets make the right moves? And obviously they did. I want to go over these numbers really quick with you guys. Vogelbach, 13 for 39, 7 RBIs, batting .333 since the trade deadline. Tyler Naquin, 9 for 26, 6 RBIs, batting .346. And Darren Ruff, 5 for 15, 5 RBIs, .333 batting average. Yes, right now they are the better New York team. I can admit that. So we got to think about playing them in the playoffs. We're talking about DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, Taijuan Walker, Carlos Carrasco. Quite possibly the best rotation in baseball with the two players on top, DeGrom and Scherzer. They were a game and a half ahead of the Braves until they beat the Braves 4 out of 5 games. So I think now they sit 6.5 games ahead of the Braves and sailing from here on out. I think the Phillies will have probably a better chance at catching the Mets than the Braves will. This is my opinion, and I'll talk about the Phillies here in a minute. But they lost 1 game to the Braves only because Taijuan Walker got hurt during the game. So imagine that. Imagine the healthy pitching squad, a pitching rotation, and I don't think anybody could have thrown the Mets in the National League East. I still say the Dodgers have a better squad, but in a series, usually the team that has the better pitching will win. So if I was to bet, I would put my money on the Mets over the Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. I know there's a couple teams here and there that can probably give them a run for the money in a shorter series. Keep that in mind. Because once you get to the playoffs, it's 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 7, something along those lines. So, yeah. We got the Astros overtaking the Yankees as the best team in the American League officially today. And I'm going to go to the standings here after this. Officially today, since the Astros won today, that puts them atop of the Yankees by half a game as the best team in the American League. And that pains me to say because, me as a Yankees fan, it's crazy. But Astros sitting at 71 and 41. So all they've done was make the right moves at the deadline, got one of the best pitching staffs in the major leagues, and quite possibly have the AL Cy Young winner on board with a 39-year-old Justin Verlander. All he's doing is leading the major leagues ERA with a 1.85, 15 wins, leads the majors as well, and the team is the American League best at 3.03 ERA. Teams are only hitting 211 against that staff, which is insane to me. 211. So which means you're not beating the Astros hitting at 211. We could blame it on a weak division, which is the AL West, which it is. The Mariners are good, but not great. They're good. They may get better. But the Astros are lengths away from getting even better. I think they got the easiest schedule. My statistician is not with us today. Hopefully he gets better. Fleck, hopefully get better sooner than later. He's just ill right now. But let's just hope that the Yankees sitting at number 4 does a lot better than they've been in July and so far here in August. Yes, they're 71 and 41, 30 games above 500. The rest of us not even above 500, so I'm not even going to give that any thought. But their last 10 games are 2-8, which is, as a fan, is kind of depressing. And it's not even against great teams. You struggle against the Cardinals, you struggle against the Mariners. And they're just struggling. And I'm not going to blame it on injuries. Stanton has been out since the trade deadline. Matt Carpenter just fractured his foot. Anthony Rizzo sat out 6 games for a bad back. So, yes, injuries have played, but they have other guys that step up that even their backups are better than some starters. Well, especially out there in Boston. Got it. 13-13 in July, 2-7 in August. That doesn't put a scare in you when you're facing the team. Okay? So they lost 4 out of 6 of the Mariners, like I said, but it did face Luis Castillo twice, and that's the reason why the Mariners went out and got an ace like Luis Castillo. Robbie Ray shut them down yesterday, and they got swept by the Cardinals, which, in hindsight, the Cardinals pitching staff should not have shut them down, but they did. So I give credit to credit is due. Cardinals did what they're supposed to do. The Yankees hitting are not doing what they have been doing. So to keep that in mind. And it's not going to get any easier. Honestly, it's not going to get any easier. Well, after this weekend, they play Boston. It won't get any easier after this weekend. Forgive me. Boston, Tampa Bay, Blue Jays, Mets. So let's keep that in mind going into August. That's a tough stretch for any team. Okay. They got to get better. They got to get healthier. They got to be more consistent. None of that says the Yankees right now. The only consistent team is quite possibly, more than likely, betting favorite, American League MVP, Aaron Judge. Okay? Aaron Judge leads the major leagues in home runs with 45, RBIs with 99, 94 runs, and a 681 slugging percentage. So who's stopping Judge? Quite possibly nobody. But with that being said, all they got to do is pitch around him and stop everybody else. I told you from day one, you got a good hitter. I'm not pitching to him. It's that simple. So hopefully Stanton comes back this weekend. Rizzo just came back in the lineup yesterday, so hopefully those good bats get back in the groove. Carpenter will be missed as that clutch hitting, but maybe getting Harrison Bader back at the next month. It won't be this month. September will help the defense out. He's the Golden Glove center field for the National League, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. And hopefully they get better. Let's move on to the team that did sweep the Yankees. It's the Cardinals. 61-49. Yes, they did sweep the Yankees. They have won 9 of the last 11, 15 out of the last 22. So, what have the Cardinals been doing that's been a little bit different than the beginning of the season? Because they went from mediocre to good all of a sudden with absolutely no changes. They pick up 2 starters, 2 lefties, Jose Quintana and Jordan Montgomery off the trade deadline, which actually helps their staff. But it's been the batting of these three-headed dragon, as I like to call it. Right now, the National League favorite for MVP, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, and Tommy Edman has been keeping the pace, has been hitting left and right for the National League leading Central Division leaders right now. So keep that in mind as well. They have surpassed the Brewers. At 8 is the falling Atlanta Braves. Sorry, I skipped. Did I skip? I skipped a lot. Jeez. Was that 5? I had them at 8. I wrote them down. Forgive me. The reason I jumped, because ESPN does have the Braves at 5. I just want to give credit is due. ESPN got the Braves at 5, but I'm going with the list that's on the board because this list is current as of yesterday. ESPN is current as of Monday. So, at number 6, the San Diego Padres. Potentially, we believe they're going to get better, right? They have to get better. You don't get a bat like Tatis, who's currently in a rehab assignment. I didn't skip him. I'm going to get to them. They're just not high on the list like ESPN has them. If anything, get mad at ESPN. ESPN is wrong. I didn't skip the Braves. Made me lose focus. The Padres are only 1 game ahead of the wild card Brewers right now. So they gotta be careful of that. But hopefully this team can get it together. Here's the issue for me, though, when it comes to the Padres. They just can't beat the Dodgers. You know, it's crazy. They just can't beat the Dodgers. I already gave they lost 17-19. I already gave y'all that number. They're 2-8 this season. But here's the issue. They play them 9 times in September. The Padres play the Dodgers 9 times in September. I'll tell you right now, they're not going to catch the Dodgers. We said that 2 weeks ago, before the Juan Soto trade, before the Josh Hader trade. The Padres are not catching, but they better get it together if they want to get one of those wild card spots, which I think they will. I think the Brewers will be on the outside looking in. That's just my opinion. I think the wild card teams will be the Braves, Phillies, and Padres. Braves, Padres, Phillies. Something along that combination. Braves better be careful of the Phillies, though. I'm going to get to that here in a second. Fernando Tatis Jr. is in a rehab assignment right now, so he could be back next week, which is huge. A huge boost for the Padres. Imagine facing that squad. You know, you can't pitch around them. So that's tough. I'm going to move on to number 7, which is the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays sitting at 60-50, 2 games up on the wild card. Okay. They got a big loss, though. Elbow inflammation to George Springer. So that is a big loss. Luckily for them, they traded for Whit Merrifield, who by trade is a second baseman, does play the outfield. He'll be filling in a center field. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. The comments is open, people. Put your comments in the comments. I will get to any question you may have. Feel free to hate on Boston and the team that used to be in Boston, the Atlanta Braves. See what I did there? They go hand in hand. It's probably why I don't like them. I don't know. My ancestors was against Boston. Just want to throw that out there. Blue Jays, we're back. They got a lot of issues with their rotation, though. Kikuchi and Jose Barrios have been struggling. 2 free agents that they brought in. They have not gained traction in being better in Toronto. So they're struggling there. But Vlad Guerrero is heating up, though. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has a 21-game hitting streak, the most in the American League this season. So we'll give him credit there. Toronto Blue Jays still got a lineup that I wouldn't want to face if I'm any American League pitcher. And and I'm just on record. Obviously, I say it every week or whenever I talk about the Blue Jays. They were my betting favorites to win the American League. So I just want to throw that out there. They're still in the hunt. I don't think they'll catch the Yankees in as far as the division, but as we always know, playoffs, everybody starts off 0-0. Number 8, finally, is the Atlanta Braves, sitting at 66-46 and trending down. Down, 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 down. They're only 4 games up on a wild card, so they better be mindful of that. They were a game and a half before they started the series with the Mets, and it doesn't seem like they've been trying to figure out how to win since getting beat up by these Mets. They split against the Red Sox, which to me, I don't care. Luckily it was only 2-game series. So, but here's big news from Atlanta, though. Max Fried is joined the injured list due to concussion. So he's hurt. There's no telling when he's coming back. I don't think he swept the Red Sox, sir. You might want to double check that. I think he lost the first game. Red Sox came back and won that game. But again, I could be wrong, but I swear I'm pretty sure the Red Sox won the first game of that 2-game series. I'm looking. Yes, you are correct. 7-9. The Red Sox page got it wrong. Go figure. They can't even get that right. Where are we at? Adam Duvall. That's where we're at. Adam Duvall, who many Atlanta Braves narcissists say should have been an all-star. He's out for 60 days with a right wrist sprain. Ian Anderson, who I believe Fleck was like, oh, we got Ian Anderson. He's on fire. Was demoted yesterday with a 5.81 ERA his last 14 starts. Good job, Ian Anderson. I hope we sign Marcelo Zuna. Sorry, that was Jorge Soler. Okay. Marcelo Zuna, who was suspended last year for domestic violence, struggling with a 214 batting average his last 2 seasons. So the Braves are in trouble here. I'll admit it. I'll look in the camera and say the Braves are in trouble. They play the Mets next week, 4 games. Astros, 3 games. So, yeah, yikes. So hopefully they can navigate those waters and be okay. I think they'll be okay. In the long run, they'll be okay. I really believe that the Phillies will pass them. I do. The Phillies are getting hot, only getting hotter. I think they'll pass them. I really do. Speaking of hot, the Phillies since June 1st are 41-19. So, yeah, the Braves are fine. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I think the Phillies will pass them, though. But here's a true testament, right, for the Phillies. They have 7 games in August against the Mets. So let's see how they do, even if they split those series or they go 4-3, 3-4, which is positive for the Phillies. They have 7 games against Cincinnati Reds, 3 against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they play Arizona. I'm going to make sure I get this right. Yeah, 3 games against Arizona. So, irrelevant. Somebody block David Leroy Harding. He's wasting my time here. There's always teams that are in the bottom. You're below the Baltimore Orioles. I paused for a moment of silence. It was not a glitch this time. The Phillies are supposed to get Bryce Harper back, but when he returns, he will only be the designated hitter. He will not play the field the rest of this season. Kyle Schwarber, who leads the National League in hitting and home runs. Home runs, not hitting, with 34. He's out with a calf strain, so he's gonna be day to day. So that's a huge loss for the Phillies. Max Castellanos is finally coming around. Brandon Marsh is there in center field. The Phillies are coming around. Excuse me. And rounding out The power rankings, the number 10 is the Seattle Mariners. They beat, 4 out of 6 games? They beat the Yankees. Did I get that right? Yeah. You don't trade for Luis Castillo, have the reigning American League Cy Young winner in Robbie Ray, and get worse. So I believe the Mariners are going to be a team to be reckoned with, right? 61-52. They sit in the second wildcard spot right now. And their schedule is a cakewalk. So the Rangers, Angels, A's, Nationals, they do have a 3-game series against the Guardians, who are way better right now than they started the season. The same Guardians who lead the American League Central, by the way, and I'll get to that here in a second, and the Tigers. So their August schedule, the Mariners will only get better. Will they get past the Astros? No, they won't. They won't. I don't. Find me a Seattle Mariners fan, and I'm pretty sure that they will agree with me. So that is your Major League Baseball power ranking. Let's quickly, excuse me. Let's get to your East standings for the sake of time. My producer put them together. Appreciate that. We have out East. Let's start. Let's just start left to right. Obviously, how we read. Except we're in Japan. Japan reads right to left. For those who didn't know, crazy. New York sitting up top, 10 games up. They're struggling 2-8, and still 10 games up. So we're not panicking. The Yankees are not panicking. I, as a fan, am concerned. As should the Yankees be concerned with their hitting. Hopefully, this slump goes away sooner than later. The Blue Jays were making some noise, and then their pitching hit a rut. But at 60-50, 10 games back, they're not catching the Yankees or the division. But we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. See if they can grab that top wild card spot. The Baltimore Orioles are your third team in the American League. They have passed the Rays, and they passed the other team from the New England area. Okay? Which is crazy to me, because the Baltimore Orioles were sellers in the trade deadline, and they find themselves only a half game back from a wild card spot. Right now, I believe they have the best closer in the American League, in Felix Bautista. So he's just been unhittable. I'm rooting for Baltimore. I'm secretly rooting for Baltimore to grab that third spot in the playoffs. So let's see how the rest of the season goes. Tampa Bay has fallen fast. They're struggling to hit. The pitching has been substandard. But Clanahan has been holding his own, but that's 1 out of 5, So we'll see how Tampa Bay finish it out. I believe they will finish above 500. Do they make the playoffs? I don't know. And then we had that last team there in last place. Let's move on to the National League, where the Mets are way ahead, 7 games. After destroying the Braves last weekend, they lead the Atlanta Braves by 7 games. The Philadelphia Phillies are moving on up. So the Braves are closer to the Phillies than they are close to the Mets. I just want to throw that out there. So Mets, Braves, Phillies, I do expect them to make the playoffs. Those 3 teams. That's I'm throwing it out there now. The Washington Nationals is just hopeless this season. They made the right moves, I believe, that they got the entire farm in the Juan Soto trade. Hopefully, all those prospects do. Man, I do not know what is the worst run differential in a season. If my statistician Google that for me and post it, because I know people from Boston cannot use Google. Let's move on to the Central. We thought the Central would be boring, but these races have picked up. The Guardians are now your Central division leading, 7-3. I got a crazy stat for you guys. Their last 21 innings, the starters have given up 0 runs. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up. I remember that. 0 runs. How did he do that? Shane Bieber, 7 innings, no runs, 4 hits. Tristan McKenzie, 8 innings, 2 hits. Cal Quantrill, yes, son of Paul Quantrill, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits. 8 Ks, 4 Ks. Yeah, the Guardians starting rotation are not giving up runs, and that's how you win ball games. The Twins have kind of fallen a little bit. Sonny Gray, their ace, has got hit hard his last couple of starts. They're only 1 game back. And the Chicago White Sox, who has been a train wreck this year. They're the first team in Major League Baseball history to have an injury in every part of the lineup. Every part of the body, sorry. Excuse me. Every part of the body. So, top to bottom, somebody got hurt in some place that, yeah, every part, fingers, hands, elbows, ears, head. Yeah, crazy. That is actually a fun fact, I guess. That's something that was put out. And the White Sox are struggling health-wise. With all that being said, they're still only 2.5 games back. That is ridiculous. No, I think the question was, what is the record for a regular season of the worst run differential to finish? Not the current there, Jimmy. If you can get that for me, I'd appreciate that. And in the American League, the National League, the Cardinals have been on fire. Okay, I already said they 8-2 currently, 9 of the last 11, 15 out of the last 22, and all they're doing is getting better. They made the right moves in the trade deadline, and I hope to see the Cardinals in the postseason. Here's the caveat for both of these divisions. I believe the losing team or teams will not make the postseason. So only the division winner. If it's the Guardians and Cardinals, I think they're both in. I don't believe at the Brewers or the Twins or White Sox or whoever finishes second. Okay, because obviously the Brewers can overtake the Cardinals, the Twins and White Sox can overtake the Guardians, but I don't believe there will be a representation in the Central for the wild card. The Brewers are just falling apart after trading Josh Hader. Hader. I think it's Hader, not hater, like those guys in Boston, but Hader with a D. Okay, so the Brewers need a lot of work. Let's go out west. The West is going to be fun. Fun to watch, but I believe it's going to be predictable as far as the outcomes. Houston Astros and Seattle Mariners are way ahead. Astros is way ahead of the Mariners, but the Mariners are contention for the playoffs. And I do believe they're only going to get better. I believe I watched them. Obviously, I watched the 6 games they played against the Yankees, and those kids can hit. They're a good hitting ball club. So I like this Mariners squad. And again, you're throwing Luis Castillo, you're throwing Robbie Ray. Their bullpen has been the best since the All-Star break. So they're gonna be dangerous to overcome or to beat in a short playoff series. And that's gonna be fun to watch. Out west, well, I hope there's not a picture of me because that'd be copyright infringement. Take that. Out west got the Dodgers way ahead. Okay, and they're not gonna 16 games. That's crazy. They probably just wrap up the division here in the next couple of weeks. But the Padres are going to play for their lives. I believe the Giants have given up, and playing for the playoffs. They're just right there. But I don't think they're going to get much of a fight from the San Francisco Giants. The Padres can only get better, I believe. They got an easy schedule outside of the Dodgers. So we'll see how they go moving forward. These are your wild card standings as of yesterday. All right, you already got your division winners. You got the Astros, Yankees, and the Guardians. Blue Jays, Mariners, and Baltimore and Tampa Bay are tied for that last spot. So I'm rooting for you, Baltimore. Why not get some baseball in Baltimore? Camden Yards is craving October baseball. So let's just hope that they keep up with what they've been doing. I don't really know if they will or not, but I like this Twins team. If the Twins team can put it together, their pitching can put it together, that they might be able to sneak in the playoffs as well. There is your answer. The Cleveland Spiders. They had the worst minus 723 run differential. That's crazy. But as you're not paying attention, the question was asked: was the career minus run differential, or the record? I should say, not career record, and it's the Cleveland Spiders had the worst in 1899, minus 723. So your National League, we got the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Cardinals. I believe the Dodgers will run away with the top. So the pennant will run through LA. You got the Braves, the Phillies, and the Padres, and I do believe that's how they'll stay. The only thing that's going to change, possibly, maybe, is Milwaukee and the Cardinals. They probably will swap in that aspect. So these are your official wildcard standings. Again, as of midnight last night. Yesterday, we had history being made. And we talked about this guy so much on this show. But in one game, which was yesterday, this is what Shohei Ohtani record broke. What he broke, I guess the second most home runs all time by a Japanese-born player with 118. He passed Ichiro, by the way. So Ichiro goes number 3. Actually, quick question for you guys. Who's number 1? We already know that David doesn't know how to use Google, so I know he has integrity. But everybody else is out there. Who is the Japanese-born player with the number 1 in home runs? And I'll give you the answer here shortly, but I'll give you a chance to chime in. Let's go back to Shohei Ohtani. Second player in AL, I just say basically baseball history, to reach 10 home runs and 10 wins in one season. Obviously, that was done by Babe Ruth. So, calm down, AOL. And a career high in strikeouts in a season. Again, also with 157. So these are records that Shohei Ohtani broke just yesterday. They don't call him the unicorn for no reason. Speaking of elders, that's perfect segue, David. I appreciate you. To this slide, Albert Pujols homer last night to reach 687. This is what's in front of him. Bonds, Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, Alex Rodriguez. Does he pass any of them? Does he have enough in the tank? There's about 40 games left in the season, 45. I want to say games left in the season. Does he pass any of them? That's going to be interesting to note. Quick note. Earlier, somebody told me or asked me if I was going to talk about Aaron Judge and his pursuit for the home run record. I think he's focusing right now. I'm not going to speak for him, but this is my opinion. He's focusing on breaking the New York Yankees home run record, which we all know that record of 61 home runs was the one that Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa both broke in 1996. McGwire hit 66, and I believe Sosa was 63. Barry Bonds later broke both of those records. It has 762 total, but he hit 73. So I guess another question would be, that's absolutely correct. Hideki Matsui is the Japanese-born player with the most home runs born in Japan. But here's my question, I guess. For those few of you that are chimed in at the moment, if Aaron Judge breaks the home run record, or if anybody else, for that matter, not just Aaron Judge, because there's some young players out there that can quite possibly do that. If they break 61, do they get credit for breaking the home run record? Since they won't let Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame, do they take the credit for breaking the home run record of 61 set by Roger Maris in 1961? Let me hear your opinions on that one out there. That's quite interesting of note to me. Let's look at your players of the week of last week. Nolan Arenado single-handedly, quite possibly, was the reason the Cardinals swept the Yankees. He had an outstanding series. For some reason, I didn't write the numbers. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, and I do apologize for that. But Kevin Gausman won twice last week against the Blue Jays. Well, with the Blue Jays. I guess that's why he was the heavy spender, I guess, in the offseason. And the Blue Jays definitely needed pitching. So I'm not going to stall for more time. This is pretty much my show today. But today, as we know, is the Field of Dreams game that is currently playing. I don't know if you can see it behind me. Chicago Cubs are up 3-0 on the Cincinnati Reds. But let's go back in time just for just a little bit. Back when David Harding was just 32 years old in May 5th, 1989. That day, 89. Where was I? 89. I was a kid, 10 years old, 9 years old. Excuse me, 9 years old, in Newark, New Jersey, enjoying baseball. Baseball was all I wanted to do. I wanted to play. I wanted to watch. I wanted to be a part of baseball. So that's all I wanted to do. So just give me a second here. But that day, May 5th, 1989, was the day that the original movie Field of Dreams came out. Okay. Was you 11? We all know that you can't add out there in New England. But May 5th, 1989, Field of Dreams. Also, we already know the story. Kevin Costner plays an Iowa farmer hearing ghosts. Obviously, the catch line was, if you build it, they will come. The backstory to it was ghost of the 1919 Chicago White Sox baseball team. 7 players, to include Shoeless Joe Jackson, were banned from baseball that year. Okay. Yeah. So banned from baseball. I'm getting a bunch of messages for all type of sports right now, so I apologize for the delay. I'm not trying to prolong this. I'm just trying to give you guys a synopsis. 1919, 7 White Sox players through the World Series because they were paid by gamblers or whatever, bookies or what it may be, to lose that World Series. History will show that Shoeless Joe Jackson, it could not be proven that he threw it, but he was part of the 7 that he did admit to taking money. So with that being said, I guess they put him in the same boat as Pete Rose, or I guess currently Calvin Ridley. I don't know. But yeah, 1989 was an interesting year in a lot of ways. 89, we had the Bay Area World Series, right? They had the Giants and A's. We all remember that series, not because of the World Series itself. We remember it because of the earthquake, 7.1 earthquake after Game 3. So that delayed the World Series for, I believe, a week. So 89 was definitely an intriguing year. And therefore, last year was the first year the God, why would I keep saying Yankees? First year that Major League Baseball implemented the Field of Dreams game, which the Yankees did play against the Chicago White Sox. So that game, Tim Anderson walked it off with a game-winning home run in the bottom of the ninth. They beat the Yankees 9-8. But remember, if you build it, they will come. Field of Dreams game going on right now. Big weekend for a lot of teams in baseball. Big series as we go into what we like to call the pennant chase. Okay? August, September. Let's see which teams step up, which teams get stepped on, and which teams make it to the playoffs. Tune in next week as I let y'all know how further away the Red Sox is from the playoffs and a couple other teams. And let's see if the Baltimore Orioles are still in playoff contention. See who's leading the Central teams, American League, National League, with the Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals, or that 3-team race. See if the White Sox can get their heads out their butts. That's probably an injury too. White Sox, Guardians, and the Twins. That's going to be interesting. All Sports Matter podcast. Tomorrow we go over the AFC South. That should take all up but 2 minutes. So tune in as we discuss 58 minutes of something else. Kidding. But tune in tomorrow to All Sports Matters podcast at 7 Eastern. Tune in next week as I go over again where your team stands, who leads the MVP and Cy Young races, and see if the trade deadline affected your team. Thank you for joining the show. Again, share. That's all I can ask. If we don't watch it live, please share. We're just trying to make it out there, talk about the sports that we like to do. Please don't be a bench warmer. Be a star. Take us out.